Hello everyone, this is Monica with the Lynx Tarot, and this reading is for all Zodiac signs. These are your full moon in Scorpio messages, also known as the flower moon of May. And we're covering the intense energies of right around the full moon, the day before, the day of, even a couple days after, but through the next 30 days to the next full moon. Okay, so let's see what we have for the collective. For the full moon energies of this period, this time period, between this full moon, next full moon. Okay, we have friendship. Nurture your friendships. And I want to say, any important relationship in your life, and it says nurture your relationships. So be careful not to get into heated conversations. If something bothers you and you feel like you want to jump to say something, stop and take a deep breath. Count if that works quietly, because if you do it out loud, that can be instigating or antagonizing. Or if someone else is doing that, don't let it antagonize you. Just maybe walk away. There are important friendships here or relationships that need some attention, and I think they need to be treated carefully, because emotions can run really high during the full moon. So we want to be careful we don't say or do things we're going to regret, and keeping in mind somebody else could say or do something that they may regret. So it can be challenging. Also, I know this is probably petunia here because it's purple, but that flower also reminds me of morning glory. So if you like to look up symbolisms, look up petunia, morning glory, and pansies. And I see daisies, okay? And we have a bunch of beautiful birds down here. I don't know what they are, but the first words that are coming to my head are pheasant. That bird reminds me of a peacock, and there's a blue jay, and maybe a hawk, raven. And we used to call the crows blackbirds. You know what? No, I take that back. They were called grackles. We had a lot of grackles where I grew up. We had a lot of crows too. And I always loved all the birds, but we had these smaller blackbirds, and I never knew the name of them. We just called them blackbirds because they were everywhere. And I used to like to watch them up on the electrical wires. They would be sitting up there, because that's what we had. We had more electrical wires back then, and telephone poles, and it was kind of that kind of neighborhood. And I just remember loving to watch them sitting up there. It was really amusing. And then they would all take off at the same time, in a big giant group, and it almost made the sky look black. And then they'd become out of view, and it would become bright again. And I don't know what it was about that was so mesmerizing. So maybe take your focus off of an uncomfortable conversation or situation and notice nature in that way that I just described. That might be something that helps somebody listening, and these bird symbolisms might mean something to you. So just like with any reading, only take what resonates, but also when you look up symbolisms, only take what resonates, what makes sense to you. Okay, we have 7 deadly sins. So to me, this is kind of like the devil card in the traditional tarot. So again, be careful not to jump the gun, to say something you might regret, or to judge somebody based on maybe they're being in a bad mood or something like that. Okay, so be careful about the negative ego, not just in yourself, or I should say ourselves, because this goes for everybody. But remember, everybody has some negative ego going on at times. So someone might be behaving in a way they don't normally behave, and they could just be in a bad mood and catching you at the wrong time. Guys, I don't know if I like this reading so far. It's kind of scattered all over the place, but I'm going to keep going because I'm sure, I really feel this could help someone. So I'm just going to keep going. oh my gosh, as I'm saying that, this card is go with the flow. So, okay, I'm going to go with the flow and continue this reading. Go with the flow, let things happen. So that's what I'm going to do here. I am going to let things happen with this reading. And look, there's a full moon right there up in the corner. This is a really beautiful card too, beautiful imagery on here. So it's like she's water skiing on these giant fish with these rainbow colors, and she's not afraid. She's just looking up, letting the ocean spray just all over her face. Just enjoy the cleansing elements on her, and this wave over her head. Like she's just not afraid that she's gonna get, you know, toppled over from that wave, because she's just going with the flow. Okay, so I'm going with the flow here, and I hope any of you listening will go with the flow with this reading as well. Take what resonates. I wanted to say something else about important relationships in your life. Okay, it could be anything, friends, coworkers, spouse. Sometimes another person can really say or do something that makes us want to judge them that way forever. And I'm not saying there aren't people out there who just behave badly a lot, and, you know, it's best to disconnect. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I think that sometimes, like, if we're not in the best mood, or we had a negative experience and then come across someone who is behaving either out of character or they're in a bad mood as well, we want to be like, well, that person's bad. Or just kind of label them as something, you know, just so that we don't have to deal with our feelings, or don't have to deal with the fact that what they said or did hurt our feelings, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's really important to check in with ourselves, even though it's very easy to point the finger at someone else. I'm not saying the other person's not in the wrong. I'm not saying that. But we really need to look at ourselves as well. And I'm seeing like a big challenge here with that right now. But go with the flow, I feel like everything will balance out. And if you look back, you're going to be glad you didn't say or do something. Or you might realize that the other person was having a really bad day, or maybe something kind of harsh happened in their life. Maybe they had anxiety triggered like right before you came across them. It could be a number of things, but it's better to check in with ourselves is what I'm getting. So check in with yourself. Why were you affected by that behavior, by that response? It could be someone you don't really even know that well either. Also, I want to say be very careful driving, because I've noticed today, just this morning, I ran into a couple dysregulated people just out running my errands. Not everybody. I didn't feel like the energy was intense and, you know, coming at me at all angles, nothing like that, but I just ran into a couple different scenarios where I was like, what's going on here? Like somebody was trying to pick up a piece of trash right up next to my car door, and they were so close to my car, I had to crack the door open and say, "Hi, you almost done there? I'm trying to get out." Like I didn't want to have to say that, but it was a while that person was doing that. They were, I don't know, they're trying to clean up something on the ground, and I started to get a little dysregulated myself. Then I realized after that person seemed dysregulated, maybe not aware how close they were to my car door or how long it was taking them. So the energy kind of bounced off of one another, but we didn't have an altercation or anything like that. But it was just something that made me kind of jittery, anxious. I wasn't afraid of the person. I knew the person. I'd seen them before. But I think that they were struggling with something in that moment, and our energies were bouncing off of one another. And then not long after that, as I was getting ready to leave, this huge truck came in trailing this huge, I don't know what it was. It was bigger than a camper, I'll put it that way, really big. And they were trying to park in an area that would not fit all of that. And I started to get that feeling again, like, oh my gosh, they're going to trap me in here. I'm trying to be patient and let them by. But if they're going to be over there struggling, what if they block me in here and I can't get out? So I just kind of took the opportunity to calmly back out and get going and kind of get out of that scenario. And I was extra cautious the rest of the ride home just because I started to pick up on some wonky energy out there. Okay, so we have the daffodil. The sun shines brighter when you are here, okay? So somebody is thinking about you and they like you, they like being in your presence. They might be asking to spend time with you, and you might not want to when you are first asked or invited. I would say don't jump to decline. Maybe think about it, because I think this could be something that would do you some good. Okay, this is the, what is this deck? The Flower Petals deck. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, so I wouldn't completely turn down an invitation if you're not ready to accept. Maybe tell the person, I'll let you know. But see, you might feel pursued. Like, why does this person want me to be there? What do they want from me, right? So maybe you're caught off guard. But just chew on it a little while. Maybe sleep on it, because it might be a good get together. We have the Aster. The past is over. Let your true self step forward. I like that. The past is over. Keep that in mind. Go with the flow and let your true self step forward. Let's get one more from here. Okay, and we have Frangipani. Is that how you say that? Frangipani. It's a type of plumeria. You are beautiful on the inside and the outside, okay? So I don't know why I want to say, if someone else is being cranky or crotchety or testy with you, try and remember this might be someone who is beautiful on the inside and they're struggling really bad with something, okay? I'm not big on making excuses for people, so I don't know why this is coming out in this reading. I'm not big on that. I'm usually like, watch out for this, watch out for that. Someone has ulterior motives. Like, I tend to go that direction. But in this reading, in this particular reading, I'm just feeling like we need to try and cut people a little slack. Okay? Now, this is not applied to situations where someone might be downright abusive or something like that, okay? All right, so this is the tarot. I almost said tower. The tarot of a moon garden. What else do we have for the collective, for the flower moon or the full moon in Scorpio? And the energies over the next 30 days. Okay. So we have the Strength card. This could represent a Leo. Take what resonates. This is about finding the strength to calm down the negative ego, finding the strength to stop and wait and think something through. We have Five of Pentacles. Okay, so someone could be feeling left out. If you turn down this invitation, that might be something like you're kind of interested in, but you jump to say no, you don't want to join or whatever, you may end up feeling left out. But the only person that caused you to be left out is yourself, right? We've all been there. So, you know, this message goes for me too. I should say we, not you, because this is for all of us. So if you want to feel like you belong somewhere and you're invited to something and you turn it down, you only have yourself to blame, okay? So we are invited somewhere and we're feeling alone, we finally get an invitation and we turn it down, we only have ourselves to blame. Okay? Also, there could be financial support for someone listening. If you don't ask for support or apply for that loan or grant or I can't think of the word, but no one's going to know you need help. Don't expect to get a no if you haven't applied for it or asked for it. And look at that. I didn't want to take that many pop-outs, but the devil popped out, and I wanted to talk about I did talk about the negative ego with go with the flow. All right, so I only want one at a time here. So there is financial assistance. I feel like there also is emotional support, but no one's going to know you need something if you don't speak up, but always, reach out to someone you trust, especially when vulnerable. We have the Wheel of Fortune, so something's moving in the right direction. This is good luck, positive change. Try not to sabotage yourself because something might be going a little crazy or wonky, or the energies are a little all over the place, because it's not going to be that way always. Also, I want to say, if it gets stormy, if the weather gets weird or whatever, that energy is going to pass. Okay, so between the full moon and the weather and everything combined, the way it affects us emotionally and biologically, it will pass. So know that it's temporary, and there are good things on the other side of this. I feel like this temporary upheaval could really feel like a whammy, but if we just kind of ride that storm, it's going to be so much better on the other side. Let's clarify strength, 5 of Pentacles, and Wheel of Fortune. Okay, we have the 2 of Wands. There's a choice here. There are 2 paths, 2 decisions, and I also want to say 2 friends. Or 2 people, 2 people involved in something. And I think one person is being uncooperative. And it might take a little bit of strength to understand that they are dysregulated in that moment. Maybe you're feeling a little dysregulated too, but dig in to that deeper wisdom that this too shall pass. This will not be like this all of the time. Moods can change. The full moon affects our mood. And it doesn't have to be that the full moon affects our mood negatively. It's just that everything is intensified. 5 of Pentacles is being clarified by the Knight of Swords. So be careful about rash decisions and sharp tongues. Wheel of Fortune and the King of Cups. So here's this emotional balance we're striving for. And the King of Cups is here wanting to provide that calm. Okay, he's like offering his cup. I want to provide this calm to those who are feeling stirred up. Somebody's feeling agitated about something that seems minor. Something about their hands, and it's a big deal to them, and it's legitimately a big deal to them. And they need some empathy. Okay, we have something about February, and see this is like symbolism for the wind blowing really hard. So this is reminding me of what I was saying about the weather. The weather might be intense. There might be a storm coming on or something like that, along with the full moon, and everything's just feeling intense. So temptation will test you with the apple. Also, someone might be going apple picking. It's not that time of year yet where I live, but for someone listening, and if this is for you, don't be tempted to get overly defensive about something. There's apple pie, apple fritters, something like that. It's a treat for somebody. I don't know what that's all about though. I think that it might have to do with what I was saying. Don't turn down an invitation. And you might be really happy that you finally accept an invitation. And there are just like really good treats involved. Like someone wants to welcome you and bring you tea or coffee. And maybe there's apple turnovers or apple fritters or something. Then there's some kind of excitement going on. Something happy, exciting. I'm getting something about building blocks to something new. Something's moving in the right direction with that Wheel of Fortune. All right, let's see what we have here. This is the Guardian Angel Messages Tarot. So the sun shines brighter when you are here. That was the daffodil. And then we have the Plumeria frangipani. You are truly beautiful on the inside and out. And we have the aster. The past is over. Let your true self step forward. So something about the past or someone you know brings up the past, or you are having trouble letting go of something about the past. Okay, so it's time to go with the flow. Allow yourself to be cleansed. Maybe do some energy cleansing in your home and your car. Okay, we have the King of Wands, inspirational, charismatic, and innovative. So you don't want to miss these awesome opportunities because of, chaos that might be going on in the environment. Just, watch your back and be extra safe, like I said. We have the Queen of Pentacles, gracious, practical, and capable. So, yeah, I think that somebody listening has these qualities. And you're wanting to say, like, why can't everybody just get along? We have the Six of Air, relief, hope. There we go. Relief, hope, and moving on. Okay. And we have that going, well, I want to match it with going with the flow, let things happen. So let the past stay in the past. It's okay to acknowledge that it's been tough, but don't dwell on the past. Work through it. Give it to God, because you're moving on to calmer shores, as they say with this card, but somewhere where it's more peaceful and harmonious, and it will require leaving something. It could be a place. You could be leaving a particular place. It could be a neighborhood, or maybe you've recently left a neighborhood and you're somewhere more peaceful. I'm picturing somebody on vacation, and while you're on vacation, you realize that you need to move. Not necessarily to the place that you're vacationing, but when you're in this more peaceful environment, you realize how chaotic it is, where you've been living or working. And that's what's going to give you that perspective. Like, okay, I need to make a change. And there's always a way. Okay, it says take some time, relax, and enjoy. Let's get a couple more. We have be powerful, exert your influence. Yeah, and we have the King of Wands here. He's charismatic, inspirational. He's an entrepreneur. Exert your influence. Okay, so if you are a positive influence on another person or a group, exert that positive influence, not the reaction or retaliation. We have tread lightly. See, I was saying this in the very beginning and probably all through this. Tread lightly. Be careful how you respond. Because, if you say something too quick or jump to defend yourself too quickly, it's only going to make you feel drained or worse. And it's not worth it. Okay, is there anything else here? Let's get a couple more of these. What else does the collective need to know? So if this reading resonates, please comment below, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'd greatly appreciate it. It would help others watching as well. Look, we've got this again. So we had the Knight of Swords down here somewhere, didn't we? Yeah, I was saying, yeah, don't make rash decisions. I'm going to put these aside. So the Knight of Swords can be intellectual, determined, and motivated, okay? So embrace those strengths rather than rushing to jump to defend yourself when it's really just going to cause a situation to escalate. All right, let's put that there. Let's spread these out a little bit. Let's get one more from here. And we have the Ace of Swords, inspiration, communication, and adjustments. Yeah, so this period of time, especially right around the full moon, is a time of adjustment. Take your time. Don't do anything too rash or jump to say or do anything too quickly. And things will settle down and clarity will come your way, and you'll be really glad that you embraced that strength. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.